Hey guys, how you getting on? This is Gar from Techfit. Today I'm going to look at building an Instagram bot. So past couple of weeks I have been looking at this guy Biesa. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right because I know how does that feel. My name is Gar as well, which is slightly hard to take. So I checked out his video. His video was on how to get 1,000 followers in the first week, and in which he's also given some advice on how can you grow your channel, and he's using some apps which are mobile apps doing the same thing where you have bot doing follow to follow, which does it gradually. And same, I know there might be a lot of more apps out there as well which are doing the same work, trying to follow people to do the strategy which is follow to follow. Now I thought maybe why not building a bot to do the exact same work. Now again, there might be a lot of bots out there doing the same work or mobile apps as well, but I kind of like wanted to build my own and see how can I build different features in it. And I'm going to try to do it gradually, and it will be an automation task using Python. Now this is for someone who wants to grow more followers on their channel. Now like obviously, like if you want to, first of all, if you want to grow your Instagram, then definitely I would recommend two things, which is first, which is your content. Build loads and loads of content, and the main reason why people would follow you is because you have a good content and it's something that you're doing that they're interested in. And second, post a lot of stories, which again makes that people are going to come on your account and they'll see that you were active in the last 24 hours, which makes that your account is active. And again, in this video, what we're going to do is we are going to follow people automatically, and we will post and like comments, and also we will unfollow people if somebody's not following us back. Like the strategy is to build a bot that is doing the work gradually, and while I can actually focus on building more content rather than just going out and following people and trying to get traffic onto my channel. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going through the list of suggestions that Instagram has posted to me that people I might be interested in to follow those channels. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is I'm just trying to pick those accounts and following them. Secondly, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to post and like people comments. Again, I will be going through different hashtags that I am interested in, and the comments I'll be making is some comment that I would usually say on the post, so I'll be using the same way, but I'll be giving a different choice to my bot to post different comments on a different pic. Now again, this is just for entertainment purposes. I don't want you to go mad on this and try to get 20,000 followers doing this. This is just to kind of like get your channel started, or even just for learning purposes. Like if somebody's trying to build a bot doing something else, this might be good learning on how do you click on the buttons, how do you click on logins, and how do you actually like it, or how do you actually post stuff. And one of the main idea for this bot is to actually grow the channel gradually. Maybe obviously if you think about it this way, if I'm liking or following people, maybe 500 people a day, there's definitely something shady going on, and you will get caught with the Instagram algorithm that they will deactivate your account. But again, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to grow the channel gradually, maybe do 50 follows a day, and then have an automated script that's running and doing this work. Okay, so without wasting any more time, let's get into coding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to break down the video into, when I code one part, kind of like demonstrate that, and in the end what I'm trying to look at is something looking like this. So I'll demo it for a few seconds first, then I'll turn on my automated scripts and you can see what happens. Now, obviously, like a lot of the viewers who are watching this video, they might not even have any experience in coding or any knowledge around how to run these things. So what I'm going to try to do now for a few seconds is just kind of like break down the approach. And if somebody knows how to code and they are pretty used to the tools that I'll name now, that's good for them. But I'm also targeting people who don't know that much of coding or who maybe just know basics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to demonstrate what we need. So we need, first of all, is Python. You install Python on a computer, you have Python IDE, you can choose whatever one you like. Then you have Chrome driver. So these are the three main things that we'll be using in this video. Now again, I'll be leaving the links below for all of these on the description box. But again, if you are still stuck at some point, you can go on Google and Stack Overflow. Like there's a lot of documentation out there. You can definitely find your way in. And then what you want to do in the end is, once you have installed all the dependencies, then you basically take the code that's also there in the description box. You use that code and you basically change your configuration file, which is just a password and your username. Once you change that, you can just run the code and it does the exact same job. Now keep a close eye on the code itself. So when I'm coding, I'm going to be giving tips and how you can do it more better. If something doesn't work, why isn't that working? So I'll be leaving a lot of comments. And obviously this is just for entertainment and this is just a basic example. You can definitely grow more on this and you can make it a way you want. Again, there are a lot of apps out there who are doing the same work as well, so I thought, why not make our own? All right, so let's start coding. So what I'm going to do first is, how do we log in onto the Instagram page? So for this, first I'm going to get all my dependencies off all the libraries that I want to use in this, and then finally I'll actually start building my class itself, and I'll do break it down by step how I'm doing each step. Now again, I would have done a lot of work previous to this to actually get all the elements that I want to use in this. But I'll break it down how you will get the element and how can you change stuff in it. Okay, so I have all the dependencies done and I have my JSON file that holds my password and account name, plus I have all the links and hashtags that I want to search through, and obviously the link for Instagram. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write the function to I'm going to actually make it a part of my initialization function, where what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in, click on the login button on Instagram, and then put my username and password and click on the login to actually go into my page. So as you can see, first I have my service turned on, which is I'm starting my service for Chrome driver, and then I'm actually getting the link, which is logging into the Instagram page. And in my initialization function, I have basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the element to click on the button on, which is the login button. Now the way you find that is, I'm going to demonstrate it now. Any buttons that I'm trying to find, like login, username, or any type of input buttons, I'm trying just to inspect the page. And once I click on that, and whatever button or whatever element I'm trying to get, right click on that and inspect, and you can actually find that class name or button name within the actual HTML code. Okay, so I'm going to make my second function now. The second function will be new follows, where whatever recommendation Instagram is giving to me, either it's on the Explorer page or it's on my own page where it's my home page. So I'm going to pick one. How I'm going to do that is by trying exception error handling. So I'm going to try one. If on the Explorer page see all is not there, then actually do look at it on my own home page. So I'm going to build that function to click on that button, so actually I can get a list of recommendation where all the users are. So within this function, I'm using JavaScript to actually scroll the page down. So obviously you can, as you can see, that there's a range I'm selecting, which is 1 to 3 times. So you can actually change that. You can make it 10 times, but the way it means is like the more you scroll down, that means the more users are open now. So you can actually follow all of them. But usually I leave it from 1 to 3 because again, if you have 500 people to follow the bot will follow 500 people, but you have more chances to get that action blocked if you have that many followers at the same time. So that's why I'm leaving that on just 1 to 3 scrolls. Once it scrolls down 3 times, it follows the people on that list. Once it's finished following that, it just closes the page. Perfect. So similarly, I'm going to make another function as well. Now, as we've seen on the previous function, that once we click on that, it actually starts to go into the see all and see all the recommendations and start clicking on them. But in this function, it would be slightly different. What I'm going to do now is all the posts that are there on my home page, I'm going to click one on the top one and click on the image itself. And once it opens, I'm going to look at all the people that have liked that post. I'm going to open that and it will pop. There will be a window popping up in which you would have all the people who have followed it, and you can actually follow them. So that will be this function where you can click this sometimes, where actually you're opening those people and you're actually following them through that pop-up window. And for the buttons itself, what I'm doing is I'm collecting all the buttons. That's because I'm finding that element and collecting them together, and then it basically clicks them one by one. That's what I'm doing through my for loop, that I'm collecting all the buttons and clicking them one by one. So first, as you can see, what I've done is I have a choice list of hashtags that I want to go through in. Obviously, I select them randomly, I pick one, and I go actually start searching that hashtag. And once all the posts are open, I'm going to build a list of all the link for each image and put them into one list where I know exactly, okay, so these are my, say for example, 100 images that I want to open, and I want to comment on them or like them. So this is how I'm doing a for loop to actually collect all these images, and once I have them in one list, then go through them one by one and open them one by one and actually like it or comment on the image itself. And again, majority of the time you'll see I'm putting sleep in the middle, so I'm trying to give it a few seconds or sleep it out. So actually once I'm commenting on something, it takes a bit of time to actually comment. We're trying to kind of make it as more humanly as possible. Now, one thing while you're clicking on that like button, it's one thing you have to remember is like it's at the moment the element that I'm trying to find is the class. Sometimes what happens is the class do change, so the code might not work for you. So the best way to do is actually, I'm going to demonstrate now. What you can do is you can open the inspect page again, and once you're looking through the HTML, you can look at the like button. What is the actual class of the like button, and if it does change in future, you can just change that class and it should work back again. Now I'm finished coding the new likes and follow function itself. So what that function basically now doing is it's looking through my, it has my list of comments that I want to make, and what it does is it chooses those comments randomly. Same way I have a list of hashtags that I want to search through, and it goes through one hashtag and it collects all the images in a list, and it goes through all the list one by one and open that link. And what it does is it actually likes that image, and then it goes back on the bottom and it selects one of the random comments that I wanted to put on that post. It takes that comment and it posts that on that. And finally, to close it, what I do is I delete those images. Once I have done one, I delete them, so all the images are always unique that I'm selecting from the list. Okay, so as you can see, the function is working, and I can see that it's liking and commenting the way I want it to. Now I'm going to go back to the last function. What that function is for is to unfollow people. Now obviously I'm trying to go through my list. Maybe this function might run once a month only. What I'm trying to do in that function is, if I follow somebody and they didn't follow me back, I'm trying to unfollowing them. Now again, obviously you have to just keep an eye, like you don't want to follow maybe 10,000, 20,000 people at the same time, or going with the whole list. Like, I'm trying to make it more humanly as possible. That would be something that I've been doing myself. So you're not going to go back and try to follow 500 at the same time, and if you do, your action will get blocked if you're trying to follow too many people at the same time. So always keep an eye on that and make it more humanly as possible. Don't try to go and try to follow 500 people at the same day. Well, obviously that looks a bit shady. Perfect, so I'm doing the same thing in this function. I scroll down, so I scroll down 2 times and see how many people I'm following at the moment, take the button, which is the button that shows me that I'm following these people, and collect all that button. I'm actually trying to click on that button to unfollow these people, and everything is done by try an exception. So if something goes wrong, it just closes the page and tries to open it again. Alright, so the whole class is finished now. I have my multiple functions that I want to use. Now, in the start of the video, I showed an example how when I turned on the first bot and it went on itself, logged in my Instagram page and followed people. Now I'm going to show an example when I turn on my second bot. It opens itself the Instagram page and logs in and actually looks at new images, and it likes it and comments on those images. What do you think, Tom? Will this bot be enough to grow the channel?
You know what? He would just put it in enough.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Smash the like button if you thought it was something useful for you. And maybe if you enjoyed it slightly more than other people, maybe do subscribe to the channel as well. It definitely helps me to grow the channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.